Okay, you've got that Western Caribbean cruise booked and you're setting sail to beautiful Costa Maya, Mexico. And you start looking into beach club options because who doesn't love a good beach day, especially in beautiful Costa Maya? There's Crazy Lobsters, there's Hey Hoo, there's Jamie's, there's so many options, but then there's Nacional. So if you're wondering if it's worth shelling out for a day pass here instead of just winging it for a free beach day in Mahahual, stick around. Because not only have I been there many, many times, but I keep going back. It's the one place I go back to over and over again. And after this episode, you'll know exactly why. And full disclosure, I am not sponsored by any cruise line or any company. So anything you see here and in all my content is always my unadulterated truth, good, bad, and ugly. Hi, I'm Melissa, a university professor who loves to cruise and who loves to talk ship. And today we're gonna dive deep into my absolute favorite spot in the Western Caribbean, not just Costa Maya, the place I come to again and again, because it consistently delivers. And we're talking about Nacional Beach Club. Now, again, I wanna be crystal clear. This is not a sponsored post. Nacional did not pay me to tell me how much I love them. I genuinely love it that much. As a travel agent, I do get a small commission if you book any of my recommended resorts using my affiliate links, and I will always link them below. And I'll tell you about the ones I like, I'll tell you about the ones I love, and I'll also tell you the ones I don't like. I'm very honest about that. But if you do ever book, please use my affiliate link. It's a great way to support my channel at no extra cost to you because making content like this is expensive. And again, it costs you nothing extra. But be sure to stick around because I'm going to share with you actually a way to save money if you do decide you want to try Nacional and you want to maximize every moment there. Now, before we get into why I love Nacional so much, let's talk a little bit about the port where it's located, which is Costa Maya. Costa Maya is located on the eastern coast of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, and it's a very popular stop on many Western Caribbean cruises. So it's a port that can handle multiple ships, and I can tell you when there are, for example, 4 mega ships docked there on one day, like there was recently on a visit there, it can get really busy and unpleasantly crowded. Now, it is a nice port. I like it. It's new, modern, commercialized at the terminal area. It is a little bit rustic outside of there. And also Royal Caribbean has recently bought this and it's going to soon be Perfect Day Mexico. And eventually it will be a Royal Caribbean stop and the other cruise lines will build out other docks in Costa Maya. So there are some changes coming down the pipeline. Now, one thing to know if you're taking a cruise here is that it does have the nickname Costa Maybe. Why? Because you may or may not actually get to dock here. Now, fortunately, I've been to Costa Maya many times. I have never had a port of call canceled or rerouted. But it's not uncommon here because the area is prone to high winds. So if you have Costa Maya on your itinerary, just kind of casually think about a backup plan. And if you book a place like Nacional, make sure they have a cancellation policy that allows you to receive a refund if your call does get canceled. Now, some cruisers decide to stay at the terminal. They're trying to save money, and I love to ball on a budget, so I can appreciate that, and there is a lot to do at the terminal itself. Now, as I mentioned, when there are a lot of ships docked, it's at capacity, or those big mega ships like Icon of the Seas are there, it's not a place you want to be. There are free pools that you can use if you buy food and drink. They have an aviary, you can see flamingos, they have a dolphin encounter, they have a little kind of fake beach area where you can look out into the ocean. You can't actually get in the ocean, but it's a nice day to spend the day if you don't want to spend a lot of money. But for me, I cruise to get out and experience the local culture, and I don't love just staying at a cruise terminal area. So I like to venture out, and that's what I always recommend, and that's what I like to do. And speaking of getting around, unlike Cozumel, where English is widely spoken and US dollars are taken virtually everywhere, Costa Maya, be aware, can be a little bit different. A lot of the vendors at the port may not speak much English, and US dollar is not as ubiquitously accepted here. Always travel with a travel credit card for fraud protection and also so you have a way to buy things if you don't have the local currency. I'll drop my recommendation below. It's Capital One Venture X card. Big fan, love it. And also remember when shopping in Costa Maya, the peso symbol is the same as the dollar sign. So don't get sticker shock. Confirm the currency before you buy anything. Another thing to know about this part of Mexico is that Mexico has 4 time zones, and Costa Maya operates on Eastern Standard Time or on EDT during daylight saving. So your ship will typically run on ship time, which is usually based on the departure port's time zone. So depending on where you're departing from, be it Galveston or Florida port, versus that time difference between where you're at in Costa Maya, you sometimes can be off. So it's vital that you stay coordinated with ship time because missing that all on board could ruin your entire cruise, especially if you do venture out on your own like you would do if you're visiting Nacional, because Nacional is not offered as a cruise line excursion. You also don't want to fudge up the time because you don't want to miss out on any time at Nacional. You want to maximize all of your time there. So my tips are always to make sure you set a timer on your phone because your phone will often auto update at port. Or my favorite trick is to get a little LED analog keychain. That's what I have. I got it for like $7 on Amazon. I'll drop my link below. Set it to your ship time so you never have to stress about auto updates, time changes, stuff like that. It's a big relief to have that, right? It's worth every penny. So now let's talk about the star of the show, Nacional Beach Club. Of all my visits to Costa Maya, as I mentioned, Nacional is my top pick. Of all the cruise ports I go to, this is probably the place I've been to the most. It's the only place I keep going to over and over again because I do generally like to get out and try different things, but I just can't resist Nacional. It really is a fave. So Nacional, it's not actually just a place for cruisers, but it is actually a small boutique resort. They have 10 bungalows that are available for their overnight guests, but thankfully for us cruisers, they also offer day passes. And again, it's not through the cruise line, so you have to do this independent. And before you embark on an independent excursion, make sure you know the pros and cons if you're a newer cruiser. I'll drop my guide below, which shows you all the things you need to know, so be sure to read that. But this makes a great option for cruisers who do want to do it on their own. They don't want to book a cruise line excursion, and they want a luxurious and private feeling port day experience. Now, it's conveniently located on the Malecon. So Malecon is basically a waterfront promenade, and it's right in that heart of Mahahul. It's nestled between Crazy Lobster, which you will hear about a lot. Cruisers love Crazy Lobster. And another Costa Maya favorite is Jamie's at the Blue Reef. So it's right between those two. But here is a key difference. As a resort day pass option, Nacional, in my opinion, and I've checked out all of these, Nacional provides a far more private and exclusive feel than the typical beach bars like Crazy Lobster. Crazy Lobster is great, but it's a little bit rowdier and busy than I like, and the restaurants along the Malecon. Nacional also does limit the number of day passes they sell, and I love that because I hate feeling overcrowded. I hate coming a little bit later and feeling like I have to fight for a lounger or having people all around me and I can't even see the ocean. And I don't ever have that experience here, and I really appreciate that. I also like that it's pretty close to the cruise terminal. It's only about an 8-minute taxi ride away. And this is a huge plus because there are some other great options in Costa Maya that I really like Jeju Beach. They're pricey, but that is the ultimate in luxury and privacy. I'll drop a link below if you do want to check that out. But that's pretty far from the terminal. It's going to take you about a 40 to 45-minute taxi ride, often along undeveloped bumpy roads that feel a little sketchy at times. So that's a great choice, but that's farther. It's a lot more expensive. Nacional is very close, and it's right there on the Malecon. Now, the downside, I always give you the real truth. The downside, if there's one thing I don't like about Nacional, I love that it's on the Malecon because you can get a cheap beach massage. There are shops, there's people walking around. It feels like you're in Costa Maya, whereas like Jeju, it feels like you're in a remote location, which you kind of are. But because it is on the Malecon, you're gonna have vendors that come by and try to sell you stuff. And it is pretty pervasive. It can feel very annoying because you're trying to relax and someone's coming by. You wanna buy sunglasses? Would you like to buy a drink and a coconut? It's kind of constant. And so that's one frustration I know some folks feel. Vendors never really bother me that much, but just be aware of that. If you're sensitive to that and you don't like being sold to all the time and you don't like having people ask you to buy stuff all the time, that is going to happen here. But aside from that, truly, I think that's the only negative part of Nacional. But for me, what I love about it more than anything is, like I said, is that exclusive feeling, but also that all-inclusive experience. Now, with all-inclusives, usually you get kind of basic stuff included and the food is very meh. At Nacional, it's really all-inclusive. It's not just all your food and not just lunch food. They have breakfast too, and they have a bomb Nutella crepe that has bananas on it. Chef's kiss. But you get lunch, you get breakfast, and I'm not an alcohol drinker, so a lot of times at all-inclusives, I feel like I'm kind of getting ripped off, but it also includes all of these great fresh juices and all of these different fruit smoothies as well. And again, it's all included, no extra cost. So as a non-alcohol drinker, I really appreciate that. I really feel like I can get my bang for my buck. I try to get there as early as possible. Normally, I'm not clamoring at a cruise port to get up and off the ship early, but I do here because I want to maximize every minute. I want to have free breakfast because I do get really sick of cruise food, but I like to have breakfast there, which is really good. And then toward the later part of the day before going back to the ship, I have lunch there as well. And then I have juices, soft drinks, and smoothies throughout the day and snacks if you want them as well, of course. Now, another great thing about the property is that they feature a plunge pool. Now, this is certainly not a big resort pool. It's very small, but it's pleasant. It overlooks the Malecon. It has an ocean view. So it's a lovely view, but it is very, very small. But it's nice that it has that because this area is prone to sargassum, which is seaweed. And there's certain times of the year and it seems to just be very hit or miss. Some days I've been in Costa Maya and the water's been crystal clear. Other times it's been so filled with that sargassum you can't even get in the water, and it's very unpleasant to try to be in the water. So it's nice that you do have a plunge pool here. So if you're visiting and you're laying out and you're relaxing at the beach and you get really hot, you don't want to go in the ocean because of sargassum, you can hop in the pool and cool off there as well. Another thing to note about the water, if you do like the beach, which I do, I like that the water is cordoned off and netted. They have a couple of hammocks in the water, which I think are really nice, and you can relax. It's really cool because you can actually see the cruise ships off in the distance, which makes for a cool photo. And it feels a little safer where it's cordoned off. So if you're worried about sea critters like sharks, it makes you feel a little bit more protective, and it also protects you from those super aggressive waves. As I mentioned, I really like Jeju. I've been there. I like it a lot, but the waves there tend to be a lot more aggressive than they are here at Nacional. So that's another plus for Nacional. Now there is a downside. This area is filled with a lot of coral. So it does kind of limit where you can wade. You kind of have to float. You can't really walk around as much in the water at Nacional, but still it's a pretty nice in-water experience. I always recommend for all Caribbean locations to bring your own blow-up inflatable floaty, but you definitely want to bring it to Nacional because of that coral. Now, one of the other perks of Nacional I like is that they provide round-trip transportation. This is pretty rare. Usually when you buy a day pass at a resort place like this, you have to get yourself there and back, and that can add up. With Nacional, they include round-trip transportation. And I also like that it's at your own pace. I have been to places before, like Iberostar in Jamaica, that provided transportation, but I had to be somewhere at a certain place and wait for other people. And of course, people were running late. I don't like that. So the way it works with Nacional is once you get off the cruise terminal, you make your way through the terminal, which it is like a maze. That's one thing I don't like about that terminal. You make your way out, there is a taxi stand, and you simply grab a taxi, tell them you're going to Nacional, even if they don't speak fluent English, which again, a lot of the drivers here do not. They understand Nacional. So tell them you want to go to Nacional. They'll take you there. Once you're there, you get out. The staff at Nacional will greet you. They'll come out. They'll pay the taxi driver, and then they will check you in. Check-in is really seamless. You get a wristband. They ask you how many towels you want. A guide will actually escort you out to the beach and help you get set up in your day bed or in your lounger. And they all have palapas, which are like natural umbrellas, so you have that nice protection from the sun. So with this, you don't have to stress about how you're gonna get there and back. You don't have to stress about the whole logistics of it all. And at the end of your day, you just go to the front desk and they actually make sure you get a taxi back, and they pay for it in advance. So they really make it seamless, there's no stress, and you don't have to incur that cost. So when you look at the cost of a day pass at Nacional, you might be thinking, well, I'd rather go to Crazy Lobster and just buy some food and drink, and it's a lot cheaper. Well, that may or may not be the case, because by the time you add up all of your food and drink costs at a place like that, and you include the transportation cost, it actually might make Nacional more of a value. Now, another great option in this area is Maya Chan. It is pretty similar. I know a lot of people like it. I personally have not been there because I'm so in love with Nacional, I can't drag myself away from it, so I can't speak to it, but it is pretty comparable in terms of the experience to Maya Chan. Another thing I love about Nacional, I cruise the Caribbean a lot. I do a lot of beach days. I do a lot of beach clubs. Most of them do not provide beach towels. And as someone that travels with kids, I really hate having to bring a big old beach bag with really heavy, bulky cruise line towels. And then even worse, at the end of the day, they're heavy, they're wet, they're sandy, they're gross, and having to schlep them back to the ship when you're tired and having to go through the cruise terminal, which is like a maze. I hate that. But at Nacional, they provide beach towels for you. So that's one less thing to have to stress about, worry about, or have to pack. And for me, that is also another thing that makes the cost worthwhile. Another thing that's cool about Nacional, they do offer lower pricing for teens and kids. I travel with my youngest daughter, she's 12. So sometimes, especially at an all-inclusive, I hate having to pay the full price when she does not eat very much. And so I appreciate that price break for the younger folks, making it more of a value for people who are traveling with families. Another great thing about Nacional is their cancellation policy. Now, I noted at the start of this video that Costa Maya has a little bit of a nasty nickname, which is Costa Maybe, because it does get canceled a lot. So it's really important when you're booking any cruise line experience independently that you verify that they do refund you, because there's nothing worse than prepaying for an experience, having the cruise line cancel the call at no fault of yours, and you're stuck just eating that. You don't get a refund. So Nacional will actually refund you if your cruise ship call gets canceled and the cruise line makes that decision and it's not under your control. Now, the onus is on you, of course, however, to notify the folks at Nacional. You can just send them an email or send them a message on WhatsApp and let them know. So don't wait until after the fact and then try to come and chase down a refund. You have to let them know as soon as possible. So now let's talk about the quality of food. As I already mentioned, I love the array of food at Nacional and that it really is all inclusive. Breakfast, lunch, not just alcohol drinks, soft drinks, smoothies, fruit drinks, all of this stuff. And a lot of times these all-inclusives, I love Cozumel, I love the Cozumel all-inclusives, but this Cozumel all-inclusive food is usually pretty it's okay. Sometimes an upgrade from cruise food, sometimes not, it's okay. But this is where Nacional really shines. It's not just super high quality food, it's a good variety of food, and the service is superb. So on the menu, you're gonna find things like traditional Mexican fare, guacamole, salsa, chips, tacos, things like that, quesadillas, ceviche, but you also, if you're a more selective eater like moi, you will find things like pizza and chicken and sandwiches and those sorts of things as well. And I do travel with my foodie bestie, Kelly. She's also my booking partner, so if you wanna book a trip, hit her up, link below. She's a foodie. She loves seafood and she was over the moon and thrilled that they served lobster. Yes, lobster at an all-inclusive, and she said it was really good. Personally, I wasn't touching it, but she raved about it. Now, their main courses are fantastic, but they also have little snacky things. If you're going about your day, you're in the water, you get hot and you're in the sun, you want a little snacky snack, they take care of that as well. And I love that it's not a buffet. A lot of times all-inclusives, like some of those in Cozumel, they're a buffet. I hate buffets, people touching, grosses me out. Here you have a server who serves you and it feels very exclusive, upscale, and it feels very luxurious. And if you are a drinker and you love your beers, they have a huge array of beers. So I think you'll really be pleased with the beer selection. So the quality here, the quality, the variety of the food, the quality and the exceptional service is really what sets it apart, and I think makes it worth the cost of admission. So is Nacional Beach Club worth it? Absolutely. I'm always honest with you, and again, I'll tell you, the vendor thing can get annoying. You're trying to relax, vendors are coming up and down, constantly asking you to buy stuff. And the pool, it's really, really, really small. So if you're a pool person, you love just drinking at the pool all day, this is not your spot. So aside from those two downsides, and it is more expensive than other options like Crazy Lobster, or obviously the public beach at Mahahul, for me, I think it's worth every single penny. It feels exclusive, it feels luxe, the service is amazing. And personally, especially when I'm traveling with my daughter, my niece, I have a really hard time relaxing because traveling with kids is just annoying and chaotic. And this is the one place where all of us can relax. They love it. And oddly enough, as kids, even though they don't have the inflatables and the banana boats, these kids never get bored here. They love it as much as I do. And I always can actually relax here. And this is the one port of call where I'm actually like, oh my God, I don't want to go back to the ship. I absolutely love it. So yeah, Nacional, it's a higher price point. Don't come squawking at me in the comments when you go look at the price and you're like, I'm just gonna go to Crazy Lobster and buy a beer. It's about the experience. And so it's not for everybody, but if you like the things that I described, it's definitely worth checking out. And remember, they do limit the number of day passes. So if you want to buy a pass, I strongly recommend buying it in advance. I made a couple TikToks about Nacional. They went viral and I feel a little bad about that because now they're sold out kind of far in advance. So you do want to book far in advance. And if your date is sold out, that's just how it is, unfortunately. And it is a level of bougie that makes your port day feel like a true escape, and it is worth booking far in advance because I promise you, you're gonna love it. And if you stuck around this far and you are interested in booking Nacional, again, I am not sponsored. Nacional did not ask me to make this video. In fact, they don't know I'm making this video, surprise. And they are not paying me to make this video. But I do get a small commission on all day pass purchases, not just here, but elsewhere. So if you do decide to book here or anywhere else, please use my affiliate link drop below. I really appreciate it. I do get a very small commission because I am a travel agent, and that comes at no cost to you. And actually, as a special benefit, you will get 5% off if you book using my link below using promotional code Prof Melissa. So again, direct booking, the link is below. Click that link, use promo code Prof Melissa, and you will get 5% off on your booking. So I truly hope this honest review helps you plan your perfect day. I will tell you, I had a lot of people visit Nacional from my TikToks. I actually ran into a lot of them on my last visit there. I think I'm not kidding, like 80% of the people there were like, oh my God, I saw your TikTok. And this is why we came and we love it. They all love it. I've literally never heard a bad thing about it or someone that had a bad experience. But I wanna know, have you visited Nacional? If so, what did you think? And be honest, right? Truth, good, bad, and ugly. Drop your comments below. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe and visit my website, profmelissa.com, for free port guides, including my Costa Maya port guide, cruise tips, and everything in between.